Remember, there are no rules in cooking. Taste this.
So we're right now in Sabor Colombiano. It's one of our clients. We're in downtown Los Angeles. They make totally authentic Colombian cuisine. One of the great things about this business is you get to learn so much about these different cuisines. There's two foods in particular we're going to look at today. There's the empanada, which is one of the most popular foods throughout Los Angeles. These guys are, they're Colombian, so it's kind of a Colombian variant. But you find it in Mexican cuisine and Argentinian throughout the Caribbean. And then there's another food that we're going to look at, buñuelo or pan de queso. It's a cheese bread that's either baked or deep fried. There's a couple different variants, and we're going to show them how they can save time and do it with our machine. So in general, we can do business with big, distribution companies. That's great. But we also, one of the cool things is we hear from businesses like this all the time. What happens is they have a food like an empanada it's a delicious food. And what happens is it takes a lot of time to make by hand. Okay, so they look, they check things out, they find us on the internet, and they see that we can do it from a machine. It's really cool being in Los Angeles. We're kind of right down the street. They can come, in fact, they're going to come down to our factory and do a trial. So we're going to see how well we can approximate what they've been doing for, probably decades and decades, if not generations, on our machine.
Hola, muy buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, Rosario, ¿cómo está?
Bienvenido a Sabor Colombiano.
Gracias.
Esto es el pan de Bono. Es un pan hecho a base de harina de yuca, queso, mantequilla y leche. Esto es un pan típico colombiano. ¿Qué más le digo? Lo acompañamos con café o con el chocolate. Y esta es la forma para meterlo al horno. Es la forma típica. Sí, no es otra cosa, porque si de pronto, si lo hiciéramos en bolita también servía, ¿no? Pero pues es la forma típica de que el pan de bono se hace. Bueno, originalmente es de la región del Valle del Cauca, pero ya ahora en todo Colombia lo conocen. Sí, es de todo Colombia. Lo acostumbramos en el desayuno, acompañado del café o el chocolate, o también pues entre comidas, ¿no? Lo tomamos con soda o algún jugo que quiera acompañarlo.
¿Este parece a los donos americanos? ¿Este
Puede ser, ¿no? Puede ser, o no las donas exactamente, sino...
To make Colombian pan de bono takes a lot of skill and family recipe, and of course, love. The chef begins to combine a mixture of tapioca or cassava yuca flour, 1 cup of yellow masapara, which is also pre-cooked cornmeal, 2 cups of grated farmer's cheese or queso fresca, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and salt to taste. The chef begins to mold that dough for approximately 8 minutes on low speed. Just when the dough is able to be molded and formed, the The chef takes the product, rolls it first, and twists it into a circular design. Colombian pan de bono is best served with coffee or chocolate. It's then put into a preheated oven at 350 degrees, of course with a grease-lined pan, and baked until the top is puffed and ready to go. As an added bonus, you could sprinkle some confectionery sugar as an added sweet treat. Now back to the machine.
Okay guys, we're back here with the ST97W showing another great recipe you can do from South America. What we have here is a pan de bono, okay, and it's a cheese bread. Now there are several different variants of this basic recipe in South America. Brazil, you find a pão de queijo, they call it, a cheese bread, very popular. In other Southern American countries, Colombia, Venezuela, you have something called pan de bono or buñuelo. Okay, so there's a little bit of difference, same basic recipe. The pan de bono, it comes out like this. It has a little bit of a tip on it, and we can modify this quite a bit too. So with our shutter system, again, we have so many different shapes. We have over 30 shapes, so we can create the exact, shape that you want to go into the oven. The pan de bono goes from this, and it goes into the oven, and it's baked. And if you have a rounded shape, which we have a rounding machine as well that we provide customers, and you'll get a perfectly round shape, and you'll have a buñuelo. And this is deep fried. So they're absolutely delicious foods. It's a cheese recipe, a cake flour and a cheese. It's a very good food. You can have it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So it's a very popular food. How we do it, very simply on the ST97W, this is a very easy food for us to do. We use one of the compartments, so there's no encrusting, there's nothing in the middle, and it's a pretty uniform mixture. Okay, so we can just run it straight through the machine. Again, we have our settings essentially saved here. We can tweak the settings a little bit, get to the shape that we want, and we can simply start the machine. The first couple of pieces will be not uniform, and then you'll quickly come out and you'll see the production is just pushing them out. We're running it probably about a third of the machine's capacity right now, so you're going to be able to do much higher production level than what you're seeing right now. But it's just showing another food that the machine does very well. So very often we have many customers who will buy this machine for another purpose, maybe to do a cookie, maybe to do a different encrusted food, and then they'll find a secondary application such as the cheese bread from South America.
Hi, I'm Chef Joe Seminary with Taste This Television, here to make a deviled eggs food recipe. So now check it out. There's a couple of ingredients of different products that we're going to be using to make this deviled eggs. And you've had them anywhere from paprika on the top to infused with ham, from caviar to this and that. And I'm going to show you my simple recipe that involves all these incredible products here to really make a good deviled egg that you can kind of walk away feeling that you've eaten a good quality deviled egg, not just egg yolks and mayonnaise and a little bit of sour cream. So these perfect balances of flavors and spices are really going to go a long way. All right, so let's talk about some of the products we're going to be using today, right? So we got this Pecan Ridge Plantation oil, and it's a pecan oil or a pecan oil, however you want to say it. And the oil itself is a very subtle oil. So if you add it to things like deviled eggs or pretty much anything that doesn't have an overly spiced kind of Cajun taste, this is going to lend very well to bringing out the natural flavors of the product. So we're going to be working with this. Next, we're going to be working with Spice World. Now, if you haven't seen their squeezed garlic, and you're used to using Spice World garlic, this is like a step in really the right direction because you can carry this with you. It's easy. You just flip the top, squeeze the amount of garlic that you need in there. You don't have to worry about the old times of opening up the jar, getting your spoon there, etc. Really cool. And they also have their ginger as well. Now, we're using something today that's new to the show called Mother Earth Products. This is their spinach. Now, these foods are dehydrated, which are perfect for later use. If you've seen a lot of people on YouTube and many other different videos talking about dehydrating food and storing food for later use, well, if you don't have to do that or you don't have a dehydrator, you just don't want to get involved with that, you can turn to Mother Earth's products. They get a really good line of stuff. Now, today, we're only using Eggland's Best eggs, and personally, this is my favorite egg to use. It's got everything from a healthier quality egg to even the look of the egg as well when you break it over, and more importantly, the taste is best. So when I'm using any kind of egg products, whether it be in breakfast, deviled eggs, or anything like that, especially baking, Eggland's Best are the best eggs around. So now to get started, what we're going to do is boil some of these eggs, and then we got a topping that we're going to be using today from Paramount Caviar. And this is their Hackleback caviar. A very distinguished, nice, creamy, black consistency of caviar that you want. Not too overpowering, not too salty, but really is going to lend itself and complement the eggs perfectly because there are hundreds of different kinds of caviar out there, and not all caviar goes great with deviled eggs. So you have to know that and be experienced that you're not going to use a wasabi roe caviar for something like a deviled eggs unless you're in the mood for some massive heat. Now, all the time, and I'll speak about this later about not dipping a metallic spoon in there, etc. So we got what we got here. We're going to be working with. So I've taken these Eggland's Best eggs and I've actually boiled them for about 9-10 minutes till they're done. Taking them out, letting them cool, and I've taken them out of the shell, cut them in half, and then you see this nice little handy-dandy pocket where the egg yolk used to be. Now, here's the egg yolks. I've taken them out. Now we're going to season this with a couple of things. First, we're going to take some of this pecan oil. You say tomato, I say tomato, pecan. And we're going to put a little bit of that in there. And the flavor of the oil really isn't going to bleed out into the flavor of the deviled eggs. You're going to find that this oil has not an overpowering flavor. It really balances out the fat, which is what you want to do because egg yolks tend to be very pasty and sticky and you want a more creamier consistency. What would the world be without garlic? So we're going to add a little bit of garlic in there. Again, not too much, but to take it to that level where we like it. We need a little color in there, a little flavor of green. Next, we got a little bit of white pepper. You always use white pepper when you're dealing with deviled eggs, and a little bit of kosher salt. Next, we have a combination of creme fraiche and mayonnaise together. Now, notice I didn't say sour cream. I've tasted a lot of sour cream deviled eggs. Just not my thing at all, man, really. All right, now we're going to mash this up. And it's important that it becomes like a creamy consistency. One thing I can't stand is like when you go to a buffet line and you eat deviled eggs, where like they've just basically taken the egg yolk and a little mayonnaise, and like it sits out on that buffet. It gets that crusty, hard, disgusting top look to it. Using the creme fraiche will make it a much more creamier consistency, and you'll be in a lot better situation. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just mashing it. And I love the way the green just gives it a different consistency. One of the reasons why I like to use dehydrated spinach is because it picks up the liquid and then absorbs any other water in there whatsoever. All right, so we're going to continue to mash this up. I think we're just about there. I like a little clumpy for my egg yolks. I don't like it to look so smooth it looks like it's processed. And what we're going to take is a pastry bag. I got one of these disposable pastry bags, way too big. Cut this down in size. And these are really cool because you use them, you throw them out. This is really the best way to prepare the deviled eggs. Like, you can get fancy and use like a star tip and get that wonderful design. I don't know. This is me here, so I don't feel that fancy today. Careful you don't put it all over the table. And we're going to make two different kinds of deviled eggs here today. We're going to use caviar, and I'm also going to use some pecans. So basically, you're going to take your egg, and with your pastry bag, you're just going to kind of, I mean, you can make any design that you want to make. Set that down. And again, without having to do all 12 of these, we're just going to do 2. Okay. Now, we talk about what we got going on here with what we're putting on the actual deviled eggs itself, right? And we got our caviar. Now, do we ever want to take a metal spoon and dip it in caviar, any kind of roe? Absolutely not. It will pick up the metallic taste immediately. Take a look at this caviar here. You see how the eggs are perfectly round and not broken whatsoever? That is a sign of really good caviar. And the smell. What you smell with caviar, really, there should never be a fishy smell whatsoever. It should never be that sticky. You know, there shouldn't be any discoloration. This is perfect. We have our caviar spoon. And what we're going to do is gently take enough that we need, and we're going to put it right over the top. This is really beautiful caviar. You see how it kind of sticks together? Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, now we got a little bit of our pecans, because a nice nutty flavor with eggs is good. Try it. And we're just going to put a little pecan over the top like that. Now, you know, you've had your traditional paprika and all that stuff. This takes it to another whole level here. And you could smell the garlic in there. I love the raw garlic fat. And, you know, you could just garnish it with a little bit of greens. And here you have it. 2 delicious deviled eggs that are easy to make. I mean, there's so many different combinations to make deviled eggs, and they're fun, and you can add anything to them. There's no rules to this. So get what you have in your local pantry, throw it together, and with a little bit of luck, you'll be eating right. So on to the next recipe, so don't go anywhere. Taste this. So now we're going to get started on our dessert. Now today we're using Savrano lemon liqueur, which is basically a limoncello, a combination of a lemon-flavored liqueur, basically. Now, we're going to do a couple of things with this. I've made actually a lemon liqueur dessert bread in which I've taken the majority of graham cracker crust or graham cracker flour, a little bit of almond flour, a little bit of regular flour, and I've come up, I made with these bread and come up with some biscuits. Basically what you do is just flatten this down, take a little circular motion, cut it out. You can do any shape you want. I just did circular, and there you have it. You bake on a 325-degree oven for about 13, 14 minutes, and you come up with this incredible looking biscuit, right? So we did 4 of them. We're only going to demo 1. So we have the biscuit. We're going to cut with a serrated knife. And you can see that the graham cracker gives it a consistency that's very crumbly, and that's what I like with desserts. I'm not looking for a bread that's gooey and very glutinous. We're looking for something that breaks apart that's perfect for dessert. So what I've done was I've taken some creme fraiche and I've taken some ricotta cheese, and in a blender with some sugar, actually agave, I come up with this. And you get yourself a nice creamy consistency that you can throw on this. So you can do this with anything. If you don't have creme fraiche and you don't have ricotta, you can use impastato, straight impastato cheese as well, which is used for a cannoli or cassata cake. So what we're going to do is take a little bit of our cream. We're going to put a dollop in here. And when we made this cream, I put some limoncello in there, so automatically you're going to get that incredible lemon flavor. And you're going to put that down first. Next, I've taken some mangoes, in which I've soaked with some lemon liqueur as well. And these are really good. I've soaked them with half water and half limoncello. And we're going to take a little bit of this, put it right over the top. And right away you smell the incredible limoncello flavor, which, hey, we're doing something with limoncello, so everything should have a little bit in it, and it'll complement it just as well. All right, now we have some other things going on here. We got this caramel that I've made with brown sugar, regular sugar, and I've cooked it down almost to like a simple syrup consistency, but this, you know, how you make caramel. If you were going to make hard candy, you wouldn't go as low, and then you have this wonderful flavor here. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit and just drizzle this over the top. Perfect. And, you know, when you have something that's, I want to say the consistency of lemon, the flavor of lemon, the tartness of it, you need some more sugar to kind of balance that out. Don't forget that we have limoncello in the biscuit, we have limoncello in the limoncello cream, and we have limoncello soaking in the mango. That's a bit much. You need something else to cut it, and this caramel is going to be perfect with it. Next, I have a dehydrated mango juice that I'm going to use just for a garnish. And I have a hybrid that a company in Ohio is making, and it's a combination of basil and mint combined. So you have a flavor of basil and you have a flavor of mint as well. I'm just going to put a little bit of this over the top. All right, and to finish out, of course, you could never forget limoncello. Oh man, this is good stuff. It reminds me of like Europe. You know, I go over there for, you know, you're walking a hot summer day on the beach. Limoncello right out of the freezer. That's what I'm talking about. I'm toasting to you, all my good people out there, for watching this fun-filled episode of Taste This TV. So now, you don't have to do much with this. Like I said, it's an easy recipe, a combination of limoncello and many other ingredients you got going on. You can have yourself a fabulous recipe here. But don't stop there, because you can hydrate strawberries, you can do blueberries, you could have done raspberries, you could have done blackberries. All of it goes great with limoncello. When you're talking about dessert, it will not pass you by. Well, thank you for watching this fun-filled episode of Taste This TV. I'm your host, Chef Joe Seminary. Remember, there are no rules in cooking. Taste this.